The Rickey, Smiley morning show.
It's the front page news.
It's what's trending now.
Recently in news, it has been non-stop court drama from Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez to Young Thug, Gunna, and R. Kelly. And from people pleading the fifth, taking deals and RICO charges sometimes may be a bit confusing for people who don't understand, what's actually going on.
Yes, because all of a sudden everybody has a law degree and is interpreting transcripts from the courtroom, and people are getting very different results.
And on the line this morning to help us out is National Criminal Defense Attorney and activist, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Gerald Griggs. Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we always happy to have you, man. So in the news headlines broke that Gunna was released from jail and took an Alford plea. I don't know what that is. So what is the difference between an Alford plea and a regular plea?
Okay, so an Alford plea is a plea where you don't admit guilt, but you indicate that there's sufficient evidence that the jury could possibly find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but you, again, do not admit guilt. And so that's what happened in that case. Gunna admitted that there's sufficient evidence to convict him. He was given 5 years to do 1 credit for time served, community service, and he had to allocute on the record. So that's what happened in that case. So he didn't actually admit guilt, but he accepted the fact that he possibly could be found guilty.
So what would the impact be now on the YSL Young Thug case, now that he's pleaded guilty under Alford?
Well, there's actually been 2 individuals that have taken pleas, and I fully expect that there will be more. And part of their plea agreement will be some sort of cooperation. I understand that Gunna has maintained that he is not cooperating with authorities, but I fully expect others will enter plea agreements and testify in that case.
Right, and we see that there are more than 26 other defendants. Do you think the majority of those will testify against Young Thug? And what does this mean for him, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think that the case is starting to unravel. I think that there will be more individuals that plead guilty for 2 reasons. One, there seems to be substantial evidence in this case. I mean, even Gunna admitted that YSL is, in fact, a gang in open court. And then 2, there's no courtroom in Georgia that can comply with 26 individuals going to trial. But the biggest one I've seen in Fulton County was 13. There was not a courtroom big enough for 20 to 26 defendants.
And they had that at the Phillips Arena. Go ahead.
Okay. State Farm.
Wow.
Now, with the Tory Lanez case, we saw Kelsey Harris. We saw her in court, and she pleaded the fifth and is not really cooperating with everything. Now, according to prosecutors, she had been compromised. Will her testimony affect the trial, and does that mean Tory can possibly get off?
I think it will because, in the criminal trial, all you need is to raise the specter of reasonable doubt. And when a person pleads the fifth, that means they will not be compelled to give evidence against themselves. So there could be some criminal liability there. Of course, she has an immunity deal, and, she's not going to be charged for that. But, you can violate an immunity deal by perjuring yourself. So clearly there's something there that she does not want to disclose in open court. And, of course, her Fifth Amendment rights gives her the right not to, but it's very detrimental to the prosecution.
So you kind of answered the next question. Let me ask you this. So they said now Kelsey tested positive for gun residue, and the question that people are asking is, could she get residue on her hands by sitting next to Tory Lanez?
It depends on how close you are to the shooter, but typically the person with the gun residue on them would either be the shooter or somebody very close to the shooter, sometimes the victim when it's a very close contact shot. So usually the shooter has the residue, and I know that Mr. Lanez's lawyers are going to try to argue that the shooter would have been Kelsey if she had gun residue on her.
Wow.
Yeah, because she had gun residue on her hand, but he did not. Did he not have gun residue on his hand?
I think they both did.
I think both of them, according to the preliminary evidence, they both had it. So there's a question of who is the actual shooter, which is the ultimate question in this case. And when you have 2 people, one that pleads the fifth, that inference, even though it's not supposed to be made, could be made by a jury that the person who's pleading the fifth has something to hide.
Gerald, while we got you real fast, can you touch on the R. Kelly case and where he stands in his appeals and trying to get his sentence reduced? Could R. Kelly be released?
Well, as everybody knows, I represent some of the survivors, so my opinion may be a little different from most people, but I think that R. Kelly will be serving a substantial amount of time in prison. I don't think that his appeals will be successful because he was given 2 fair trials. He still has 2 more cases, and so I don't think he'll be coming home anytime soon.
Oh, wow, Gerald, God. That's a whole lot, man. Well, thank you so much for this information. If anybody want to reach you or have any questions about anything concerning any of these court cases, or, just want people to follow you because you post a lot of stuff, let everybody know how they can follow you on social media.
Okay, they can follow me on all social channels at Attorney Griggs, ATTORNEYGRIGGS on all channels, or you can go to the website, www.geraldagriggs.com.
Hey, Gerald.
Yeah.
Man, you, Roland Martin, Jeff Johnson, all y'all alphas, y'all be thinking y'all, man, gone, man. Have a nice day, Gerald.
Well, we holding up the light, Rick. Everybody's entitled to make one mistake. You made that one by pledging Omega, but you still my brother. I love you.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you make it. My brother. Y'all give it up for the one and only Gerald Green.